Alright, so you won't realise not what I've just realised, but what keeps coming to mind is a lot of people who I actually know have quietly made 5, 10, 20 million pounds are not people who have sold the crypto or who's done a massive course on YouTube, but are people who actually made boring businesses. Today's going to be a complete different style of video where I have a little Google Doc here that I'm just kind of reading through because I was thinking of this while I was working on my business like 10 minutes ago, but I thought let me kind of write it down so I can see more articulated. I know if you just get my point across so you guys can fully understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, in my community, Wellington, where there's so many vetted people who are making real money, none of them made the money from selling crypto, flipping watches, or selling courses. They actually made the money from running boring ass businesses. So businesses most people don't really want to ever enter, businesses that aren't really glamorized, that you won't really be saying, oh, this is what I do, this is what I do. But businesses that there's not really much competition because it's mundane, it's kind of old fashioned, and takes quite a lot of time. But these are people who are really cash rich, like seriously cash rich. One guy I know from Wellington community, I don't want to say his name because he spoke to me in confidence. So last year, he made $8 million by literally just selling a white label probiotic to a pharmaceutical company. He's been doing it for 10 years, he said. And last year, as I said, he just made $8 million. Who's entering that field now? No one. Everyone's starting this e-com or drop shipping or TikTok. That's what people are doing now. People aren't doing white labeling for probiotics. Another guy, he sold his B2B training software truck company. So what happened was he was an apprentice. He worked for like a small truck firm. He worked his way up. It probably took him. He's like 35 now. And he obviously after working for someone as a truck driver, he decided to buy his own truck. Then he had a fleet of different trucks. He hired someone to build an app, like a SaaS product, to kind of track all his trucks and stuff like that. And he was able to sell that company, not for your $100 million exit or your $1 billion exit, but for around 8 figures. But it was all bootstrap. It was literally all bootstrap. His dad helped him because his dad was retired. So that's all his money. As you know, as I always mention, when you raise money, you lose quite a lot of equity. A lot of equity. So you're not really getting a lot of money to yourself, even though your company sold for a lot. And today I kind of want to break down why boring might actually be the best business to do right now. How you may not be the best at something, but you may be the best in a specific industry where there's not many innovation. And this is what I'm trying to preach to some of you guys, that not all of you are going to be the next Elon Musk, but you could be the smartest bin man. You could be the smartest lorry driver. You could be the smartest person at creating toilet papers. And you should use this to your advantage because the competition is not high compared to other like tech companies. So let's just kill this myth that you need to have some crazy new idea to be the best founder, to be the next Thomas Edison, to be the next Leonardo DiCaprio, to be the next, I don't know, next Isaac Newton. No, that's not how it is. Nowadays, after speaking to a lot of founders, it's all about having an obsessive framework. For example, I did some quick research using ChatGPT before this Take AGI, for example. They have a green powder company, basically. Let's just call it a green powder company. They made 600 million a year from one single product. Listen, one SKU, they made 600 million a year. That's crazy. Some of you guys are trying to do 50 different SKUs for your DC company. You're only making 10 million a year, 5 million. This company is making 600 million a year. Let me repeat, 600 million a year with just one SKU. Chris, the founder, he didn't chase 10 products or trends. He just kept going deeper and deeper in one thing. He had an obsessive mindset of making this one SKU the best SKU ever. That's all you have to do for boring businesses. Just being the best at one specific field. Just one. Not multiple fields, just one thing. Have laser focus. He just kept going deeper and deeper on that one thing. Better ingredient, better absorption, better branding. Just being the best supplement for everyone. And he took that supplement and saw, what do I need? What do I not need? And if you actually tasted AG1, it doesn't taste nice. So how do you have a one SKU product that, not to be bad, but doesn't taste nice, but you're selling 600 million a year? That's crazy. He didn't try to build a health empire. That was not his objective. He just made the best scoop of powder on earth. It sounds simple, but that's in hindsight what he did. I saw an interview where Cole, the CEO of AG1, said, there's no way Chris saw this playing out like this. He just kept going deeper and deeper. And that's the key. It's not that these founders are smarter than me and you. They're just relentless. As I mentioned earlier, I have a community called Wellington. It's a community of vetted entrepreneurs, killers, freaks, who are actually building something real. So there's no crypto guys, there's no gurus. These are all real entrepreneurs who are making at least 500k AR or who have raised 1 million in the pre-seed. And this community does serious killers. And we all join together. We have therapy sessions. We speak to each other about what we're currently doing, how new politicians are affecting our businesses, our mental health, how we're going about finding people, and we're just learning from each other. And it is a very tight-knit community, so don't apply if you're not serious, if you're not making 500k minimum AR, because you're wasting my time. And most likely you're not probably gonna get invited into this community, but if you fit, you have a chance. As I was saying, in this community, I've spoken to so many serious killers, serious founders. And the more I speak to them, the more I realize that they're not smarter than most people. Yes, there are the odd people and a very top percentile, but majority of these people who have a lot of money, guys, millions of pounds, dollars, they're just obsessed. You need to have this obsessive personality. Like, you have to be obsessed with just doing one thing really good. You just need to be the best at one thing. That's all it is about being an entrepreneur. You just need to be the best at one thing you're doing. You don't need to try to spread yourself thin, no. Be direct. Until you get to 10 million AR, then you may change. But just remember, AG1 have one product and they're making $600 million a year. That shows how laser focused and how obsessive you have to be a publicly traded company. They are publicly traded. Second pattern I realized, these founders, they make the boring stuff sexy. That is an art. It's an art to draw something so simple but make it sexy. Do you remember, I think it was a couple months ago, maybe the end of last year, an artist sold a banana. I think it was just a banana painted on a tree or something like that for millions of dollars. How do they do that? Yes, good branding, but they're just making simple stuff, boring stuff, sexy. Look at Eric Ryan. He's literally one of the king of making boring stuff sexy. He took a soap brand, literally a soap, and turned it into a design forward product with method. He sold it for hundreds of millions. And guess what? He did it again with his company called Ollie Vitamins. These are just gummies, literally gummy things in Target with nice branding. So he realized that a lot of these companies or these pharmaceutical companies, it's not really appealing. The marketing is kind of boring. There's no innovation. So he took a gummy bear. Haribo's have had gummy bears for years, for centuries. Maybe not centuries, for many of decades. And he just copied that, put that into a vitamin as you say in America. And now he sold it for hundreds of millions. That is completely crazy. I'm not trying to dumb these things down, but it is this simple, guys. Obviously, with a lot of execution and a lot of grit and tenacity. But in the whole objective, just making boring companies easy, making it look sexy. And then he did it again with welly band-aids. Bro, sis, listen to me. These are categories that were completely commoditized. That's all. No one cared about them. They're dated. But Eric made them beautiful. That's all he did. He copied what was happening before and just made it beautiful. He just had a taste. That's literally all you have to do. That's the play, guys. You take a boring market like vitamin, shampoo, soap, toilet paper, and you inject taste. Guess what, guys? If you don't have that taste, you can hire tasteful people. You can literally hire tasteful people, and you are still the founder. People buy with their eyes nowadays. They want to feel something. That's why everyone's always talking about you need to hit your audience or your target market with emotions. People emotionally buy. That's how people buy nowadays, with their emotions. Not really with their brain, they just buy with their emotions. They want to feel something, even for shampoo. It's crazy. This is what I'm saying. Boring businesses are actually the way. If you're doing a boring business, keep going. And if you're doing a very high sophisticated business, try to dumb it down into the simple core. Just forget all these MVP, all these forget all these terminology. Try to dumb it down into simple way of how do I make this boring idea very sexy. That's all you have to do. Another common trait that I've realized after speaking to multiple founders, they copy, they don't invent. It sounds crazy. You're in school, your teacher told you never copy, never collude. No, don't do it. But sometimes you can copy with your own taste. You don't need to invent the wheel. I've learned this the hard ways. I've lost loads of money by trying to invent. I've lost loads of money, lost loads of time. Not really losing time because everything's a learning point. But copy, do not invent. These founders that I've spoken to, they copy a lot, like a lot. They're not ashamed of it as well. They boast about it. They boast about how easy it was for them. They don't just sit around trying to invent the next Uber for cats. They reverse engineer stuff that's already working. That's a lot of them are actual engineers. Because they know how to reverse engineer, they know how to problem solve. Then they make it 10 times better and 10 times more focused. One brand, for example, Brad Jacobs, he built like 5 companies that went public. How are you building 5 companies that goes public? That's different level. That's We're not even there yet. No, I'm not there yet. Personally speak for myself. I don't even have one company that's public. Imagine 5. Every time the same formula. Find a fragmented market, consolidate it, scale with ops and brand. That's all. Literally, I don't know if you guys listen to my first million, which I always rave about. Basically, Sam Parr, he started, his main big win was the hustle con, and just, yeah, he sold it to HubSpot for 30 to 50 million, whatever the money is. But it was basically like a newsletter. His best friend, who he does a podcast with, is Sean. Sean literally copied the exact same thing for crypto called, what did he call it again? Oh, I forgot what it called. But he was able to even exit that. So he just copied exactly what Sean did. I mean, what Sam did, but for crypto. So guys, look how you can copy, but in your niche, in your interest. Just look what's happening. It doesn't have to be in your specific target, demographic, or in your market sector. Look in different areas, see how you can copy. That's why I always try to tell people to read biographies, but people who are complete different fields. Leave your field alone, complete different field, and see what they're doing and try to copy it. Even pros, the customer shampoo company, I think they're doing over 100 plus million a year, 8% recurring revenue. What did they do? Took a shampoo, one of the most boring products ever, shampoo, and they made it hyper personalized. They even asked for a hair sample to get started. So ask customers for the hair sample to get started. So now whoever's buying it are like, this is specifically for me. I'll pay whatever it needs to be because it's for me, specifically for me. And so everyone just buy out of emotion. Like, who even does that? Think about it. But it works because it's not new, it's just better. Now think of the big boys. I really love this company. I love Toby, and I forgot the other CEO. I was listening to his podcast, The Shopify Mindset. This is a story I love. From a billionaire investor, he said, when I talk to the Stripe founders, we talk about books, ideas, framework. But when I talk to Toby, the Shopify founder, he only talks about Shopify. This is what Sam said on his podcast. That's a guy you want to bet on. Someone like that. Not intellectual. Not the idea guy. But the obsessive operator. The most competitive person in the world who does not want to lose at anything. And that's just how boring business has been. They're built for people who are not the smartest, but are willing to go deeper than anyone. Are willing to go further than anyone in that specific field. And they are the people who end up making quite a lot of money because they tend to bootstrap their companies. And you can do this. And even if you've raised money, maybe you don't need to raise more money. Just copy what's working in another market and inject that and just keep going harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and hard. And go deeper than everyone. And that's the moat. Another thing I've noticed, I keep speaking about what I've noticed, I've literally made this massive Google Doc. If you want, I can literally give this Google Doc for free. You want to just click the link to Wellington and I will just give it to everyone who wants this Google Doc. Another point is the Swiss Army knife to specialists. In the beginning, it sounds like I'm reading the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. But no, in the beginning, every founder is a Swiss Army knife. So every founder wants to be the marketing guy, they want to be a salesperson, they want to be the operator, they want to be the recruiter, they want to be the hiring manager, they want to be a leader, they want to be a role model, they want to be the engineer, they want to be the designer, they want to do everything. But as you scale, the best founders get surgical. So what does that mean? They go from generalists to specialists. And they start hiring the best people around them. And these people are here to cover up their weaknesses. And that's how you scale from 500k ARR to 5 million ARR to 400 million ARR. And the ones who make it through these times / transition, they all have one thing in common. One thing. They were not chasing status. They were not obsessed with trends. They were just obsessed with solving that one problem, that painful problem for a specific customer. That's all they wanted to do. Solve that one problem for a specific customer that's painful, that's crying for this product. That's all they're doing. So if you're also watching this video, most likely the type of person I want in my community. Most likely you still have to have an interview and get vetted by other founders to be in this community. However, if you get accepted into the community by applying in the link in the description, we keep it small, we vet every members, and we're building for decades. We're not building to sell. We're building a community of killers, of freaks, of go-getters, of people who are obsessed, people who make the boring thing magical, and people who have taste, and people who are relentless, and people who have tenacity. We're building this community so we can all learn from each other, tell each other our weaknesses, see how we can strengthen each other, because iron sharpens iron, and make sure we're always on the right track to become a better version of ourselves, a better leader, a better CEO, and a better family person. If you want to be in this community, click the link in the description and apply for Wellington. And I'll also give you this doc of just great stories from people within Wellington, and yeah, it's for free. It's just a case study, and just to let you guys know that keep going. It's not really from people who are going from 0 to 1, mainly from people who are going from 1 to 5 or 5 to 20. Because we're not here to babysit people, we're here to learn from each other. And if you're a real killer, a real entrepreneur, join the link in the description. Lastly, YouTube is very, very, very good at suggesting really good videos. So over here, I would advise you to watch this video, and you probably get more gems. And after that, be productive and keep going, and stop trying to do this journey by yourself and be lonely. Join a community with great people and see how your trajectory changes.